Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Conspiracy Keepers. My name's Backlash, and for once in God knows how many years, I'm showing my face. This is the
Wow.
Backlash.
Whoa,
yeah. They're gonna have to look through the files after all of this.
Unreal.
Anybody comes out of a black helicopter, I know who I'm going after first.
Scooter.
Yeah, wave. And then I think Jackie, because she was harping at me to get me on here for forever. So
This is great.
Yeah.
Are you so happy, Scooter? This has made your day, hasn't it? I could see your face, Scooter.
Yeah.
I miss seeing, Joe, even Joe, I'll bet will agree on this.
What's that?
As much as hectic as and Jackie, even with you, even though you were at Cozy and we were at Alice, but in the coming in and out of the halls to get a wave in and get a hug, say hi and be face to face is totally different than, so yes, I get to see my friends. So to the audience, enjoy the shit show, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
All right, here we go.
Oh, wait, what do we got there?
Hey, you gotta put $1 in the swear jar. Every time you say a swear word, you gotta put $1 in. So
I was in looking
up that wallet.
for a picture, but then that way they've got a quick little glimpse and they can still do the face recognition.
I love it. I do. I really do. That's
How
one
cool
of
is that?
the tragedies of the COVID era. Is not seeing people anymore.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I gave the listeners a quick peek. It's kind of like a little bit of voyeurism on my point.
Fair enough.
Now,
Good for you.
go to
All
that
right.
one.
You want to jump in? It's Olympic time.
Again? We're doing it now every 2 years instead of 4 or every 6 months.
Here's the deal. Because of COVID, they didn't have the 2020 and 2020. And now we're to the winter. That was the Summer Olympics. Now we're in the Winter Games, they call it. And I was doing my little, part-time radio show, happy as a clam, looking at the show prep on the, different. And MSN had a bit about some of the athletes who tested positive for COVID, and they put them into a gulag. They put them into a dorm. I mean, it is unbelievable. Yes, sir. They put them into a hotel in Beijing, and some of the athletes were
hotel and gulag. That's too close to that's like saying the Radisson in a youth hostel.
Well, they were showing pictures, some of the athletes, of the food that they were being served in China. And now these are highly trained athletes, and some of them asymptomatic.
Of course.
But they test them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do they put it in their nose? Like every time they turn around? I feel so sorry for these kids. Well, anyways, a couple of them were like, all right, we have been used to working out like 4 times a day, practicing our sport, and they're in hotels where they're not allowed to exercise, no access to a gym,
Wow. Yeah.
no gym equipment, no weights, and pictures of the food. The plate was this little, sectioned off thing, like a little kid's plate, going to a buffet, plain white pasta, plain white little pieces of pasta. They think Americans eat this? Athletes eat this? No vegetables on the plate. It was so sad. I wish I had the picture with me, but it made me so upset. And finally, they were complaining because the coaches were a couple levels down, and those coaches who were flagged as having COVID and were put in the hotel, they had better food.
Wow.
Than the athletes. And finally, the athlete who complained, I think she's an American. No, maybe she's a Russian. But anyway, they gave her a bike to pedal in her room. And they did upgrade the food. And she said it was the same food for, 3 meals every day for 2 weeks, the same plate of food, no variety and no nutrition.
Unbelievable. Well, I guess I should say it is believable, knowing what's going on in the world right now. My goodness. And
then one of the athletes, a young skater guy, he tested. They always say the same verbiage. He tested positive for COVID. But did he have any symptoms?
Right.
Was he sick? He should be able to skate. These people have
never let the facts get in the way of a good headline.
Their whole lives. I'm so empathetic with their situation because they practice and they train, and their parents give them up, to the training and to their athleticism. And here they are. They've gone to the Olympics and they can't compete, even though they're the best in the world.
Yeah, it's such a setup. I think I don't know if we went over this before. Did we ever go over how those COVID tests work? because Kerry Mullis, who was the creator
Yeah.
of this test, he actually went into great detail about how they were supposed to use these tests before he died in 2019. Of course, they couldn't have him around, for this. But he even said why he created this test. He says this test was not created to tell if you're sick or not. This is the creator of the test. And it goes from a cycle of 1 to 100. He says at 1, nobody will test positive. He says you can make it to where anybody can test positive for anything. Now, they usually set the mark at about 25 cycles. At that point, some people test positive, some people won't, even if you've got it or not. So these tests can be manipulated.
It was
They can
40.
be manipulated all over the place. Yes.
Joe, it was 40 at first. And then they're like, oh, I guess we'll put those cycles down a little.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Some guy, a ruler, a president of I'm so embarrassed I can't think of it. I should have had this prepared. But anyways, he put fruit and all kinds of things into the test. And he said it didn't matter what it is. If it's grown in the ground and it's an organic substance, it'll test positive for COVID.
That's right.
At 40 cycles.
Right. Yeah. So these things can be manipulated. They can be turned up and down. That's why they picked this particular test, because anybody can test positive at some point, depending on what you want to cycle it. Well, so it's just amazing.
Yeah, they've applied on the CDC website. You can read all about it, and the FDA website, but they've applied for new types of tests. And guess who's going to own the patent for the test?
George Soros and or Bill Gates.
Yeah, both. Everybody has a hand in it.
Yeah.
Everybody has a hand in it.
Guess who is it?
Well, it's the same companies that already have the patents for the clot shot.
Oh, right. That's right. Right.
Pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, as we've discussed before, pay well over half of the budget, private money for the budget of the Federal Drug Administration.
Yeah, we are so being
this
played
is not
by
public money that make these decisions.
Yeah.
This is corporate money. And I get so frustrated because you cannot talk to reasonable people about it if they've already had their opinion otherwise.
Right. And they think that they're informed. And I've done this so many times. It's really incredible. The people that think they're informed, all I do is I ask them just a couple of questions. I say, do you believe that the test is accurate? They'll all say yes. And I'll say, do you know what PCR stands for? Nothing but crickets. Polymerase chain reaction is what it stands for. And then I'll ask them, do you know who created the test? Once again, we'll get crickets. Kerry Mullis. Do you know what he said about how this test was supposed to be used? So they think that they're informed, but yet they can't even answer a simple question like, what does PCR stand for and who created the test?
I've got a question, Joe.
Go ahead.
What was it supposed to be used for?
It was supposed to, let me tell you. Kerry Mullis said it was supposed to make a lot of something out of nothing. It was supposed to check your DNA is what he created it for. Now, these are his words, not mine. He said this test was supposed to be created for making something out of nothing.
Yeah, he's from South Carolina, and he was a professor in addition to being a scientist. And
he was a Nobel Prize winner.
Yeah, he won a Nobel Prize, and he invited Fauci to come down to South Carolina and debate. And this was long before COVID. Well, not long before, but before COVID, because he was on to, what was going on during the HIV epidemic and who had their hands all over that.
That's right.
Let me guess, drug companies.
Look at Scooter. He's just sitting there in mute.
Really?
I will play devil's advocate and open it to the group unless Joe's got it already. And you do, Jackie. Following up with Backlash's question, how did he die?
Mysteriously, suddenly.
That's right. As a matter of fact, I know he died in 2019, but if you try to look at what the cause of death was, you won't be able to find it. What did he exactly die of? I haven't been able to find it, and I've looked for it. What did he die of?
So did he get the Osama bin Laden burial at sea, or did the car explode and the engine went somewhere else, or what? Yeah.
Well, you won't be able to find the cause of death.
I'm not trying to be funny. These are other stories of how people died we're supposed to believe.
I know.
No, it was one of those that it happened in the home, to the best of my knowledge.
Well, you slip and fall on a butcher knife 3 times. Anything's possible.
think it was poison. I really do. I'm pretty
And
sure.
now you know why I don't put my actual face up there.
I know I just, it's so funny to me that you can't even get on the internet and talk about these things and present that point of view without
You're
being
racist, homophobic, xenophobic, transphobic, misinformation,
No,
anti-vaxxer.
anti-vaxxer.
You gotta go.
But you can't bring up even facts without saying
No.
somebody saying to you, you are this, that, or the other. You're anti-mask. You're da.
What's really
I know.
wild, guys, because you've always been telling me, oh, they put it out in the public. They let you see it, let me see it. It's always out in front of you. So the other night, I couldn't sleep. So what did I do? I went on to my favorite streaming service.
Bad
I
idea.
think it was Mission Impossible 2.
Oh.
And they had created a virus, and the other person had created the vaccine for it. And they were trying to sell it for 30 million, and you had 28 hours before you died, and it was very contagious. I was up until 4 o'clock that morning.
Poor thing.
I was in my closet.
Yeah. Cognitive dissonance. I think
Hamsters just sitting there.
Oh my God.
people
Hamsters going very, very
just cannot face it. But I was watching David Icke. David Icke said this recently.
Oh yeah.
On his kids have started a network that you can subscribe to. It's called Iconic, and he's on there, and they do lots of other news shows and very interesting things. But anyways, he said there's 3 kinds of people in this situation. People who really, really don't get what you're saying. They just can't hear it, like they have blinders on. Then there's people who can hear it, have heard it, but are stuck in cement and can't do anything about it because it's too painful. And it's too painful to admit that, oh my God, for 2 years, I've been saying that you guys are conspiracy theorists. Now I can't back down. Third kind of person is, I guess, us.
Right. Yeah. Right.
We're telling other people, and it's painful, and I don't know.
We're talking about the virus and whatnot, and questioning the narrative, and yet I know I'm not going to say this very eloquently, and the words will be used against me, and so here we go. Is not true science constantly questioning what is supposedly fact due to science? And I think of Galileo and Copernicus and Newton and to Joe Rogan. Now, wait a minute, Scooter, you just compared Galileo to Joe Rogan. Well, no, they were perhaps ahead of their time in saying what they said and questioning. And look how the establishment pushed back at that. But is not the job of a good scientist to read, on the weekend, because that's what science geeks are supposed to do. They're not supposed to be bar hopping and being pundits on a network. They're supposed to be reading the latest journal of the latest discovery of the latest. This guy's a nut. Let's get in the lab and prove him wrong.
Yeah.
Is that not what science is? The way I was raised by the Jesuits, isn't that what science is? Yeah, you question and keep questioning, and you keep pushing.
Follow the money, though. Follow the money on that, Scooter, because the people who are employed, and it's highly compartmentalized, the facts that we receive. And, their supervisor says, hey, get on the team, or you're going to get thrown off. And these people who make a lot of money live in Washington, D.C., Ohio, all the places where these things are studied, and plus they have to sign a non-disclosure, or they'll end up at, Gitmo, or they'll, mysteriously disappear or something.
Yeah.
Joe, this is the 10-year anniversary of the 2012 National Defense Authorization Act, where they wrote in the provision after Janet Napolitano said that right-wing extremists were considered domestic terrorists.
Oh boy.
That's when they wrote into the legislation, because it's the defense appropriation bill. Let's just slip this in. America won't notice. We're sneaking it in at the end of the year. I believe Obama signed it with the auto sig. either
Yeah.
December 29th, 30th, or New Year's Eve.
I think it was New Year's Eve.
It was the
New Year's
auto
Eve.
Well, he was in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And in the 2012 NDAA, the illegal, period, illegal, indefinite detention and torture of U.S. citizens, whether on domestic soil or overseas, because Jackie, you said Gitmo. It is now 2022. Those who may or may not have been responsible or a part of or anything having to do with January 6th, many are still not allowed counsel, are still being held in detention. They are not being given their rights as an American because of NDAA. And in Colorado, where I am broadcasting out of, I was the idiot who went to the county and said, hey, are you aware what the feds are doing? And made them oppose and go on record. In this county, we will not illegally detain, and we will not be a part of anything that the federal government says we're supposed to do, because this is out of your mind. I now say that because in January in Washington, D.C., what they're now calling the freedom truckers in Canada, as this started about viruses, they're calling the freedom trucker movement in Canada a contagion.
Wow.
Are you in high? I already got about a buck, so I won't swear again. No tip jar. Are you high?
Okay.
The freedom truckers are a contagion, and it's spreading like wildfire. We gotta shut it down.
Wow. I know.
We are beyond the point of a civil war, ladies and gentlemen.
Isn't it
And
interesting?
it's time to point out the emperor has no clothes. They're 400 pounds. Forgive me, Jackie. And they have a small penis. It's time to go.
I don't know. Does Justin Trudeau have one? I just don't know. Anyways, listen,
the better
I say that because I have
blackface, since he does his hands and his arms and his chest. What else?
I have friends who are dual citizenship with Canada, and I haven't met one of them, regardless of their political tilt or anything like that, that has anything nice to say about Trudeau and the way he's treating Canadians at this time. Right. You know, he was saying on TV that in the first week of the trucker movement, that it was unacceptable to have this opinion. It's unacceptable. They're saying and doing unacceptable things. Really? Thought is unacceptable now?
Yeah, right.
Unacceptable.
Yeah,
obviously it is. If we can't, get on here and without, I don't know if we'll ever get dumped off of here, you guys, or hacked or anything else.
Stand by.
The
clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking, but it's just, but back to the athletes, those poor athletes. The one athlete said, I have lost so much weight in 2 weeks, lost muscle mass and everything. She said, you could see my bones and stuff. I can't compete now. And being held against her will. If she's sick, then send her home.
Right. Well, yeah, I think they did. If you remember the Memorial Golf Tournament this last year, John Rahm, who was the leader going into Sunday, he had a 6-stroke lead, and he was going to win. There's no question about it. All of a sudden, out of all the people at the Memorial Tournament, all the players, all the judges, everybody, he was the only one that tested positive for COVID. So they dump him out of the tournament, and he's gone, and somebody else takes the trophy home. Yeah. So the thing is, if this was really about him testing positive, all they had to do was have him go out by himself. All they had to do was just say, okay, we're going to send you out ahead of the field. Go ahead and play a tournament. But no, because we know betting comes into this. He was going to win. He had a 6-stroke lead. He tested positive for COVID. They manipulated the test and they boot him out of the tournament. So it's the same thing we have going on here. They can do anything they want to if they don't want you in whatever venue that you're in. This time it's the Olympics. So this all goes back to what you were talking about, Scooter, with the NDAA bill. All they have to do is declare you're a domestic terrorist, which could be us, and you're out of here.
That makes my stomach so upset.
I know.
It really does. We're not allowed to do what we want anymore. We're not allowed to compete. We're not allowed
That's right. Yeah.
We started this on the Olympics and the virus Joe, did you or Backlash or Jackie happen to catch the opening ceremonies? Because it was either the last show or a couple shows before when we were talking about the Illuminati symbols. We've got the Olympics now. I don't know, this is Super Bowl this Sunday or next Sunday. So do we want to give a heads up on, what to be looking for there? But did anyone watch the opening ceremonies?
I watched a little bit of it. And did you guys,
No.
I didn't watch the whole thing all the way through. Yeah.
I don't have network TV.
What did you take away from it, Joe?
I didn't see enough of it to really have an opinion on what's going on, but I can tell you what they do, because they do it at the Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, you can be sure that they're going to do this at the Super Bowl. It's all predictive programming. They're going to tell you what they're going to do in symbolism with these ceremonies, whether it be halftime, whether it be the Olympics. They always tell you what they're going to do. So just watch for that.
What
don't
stood
make any
out
sense, things
to
that
you at the Olympics? So the little bit of the opening ceremonies you did watch, what stood?
I can't say. I did not see enough of it to give you an opinion on that. I just didn't watch enough of it.
And I'll be honest, I didn't get a chance to watch it either. I mean, and Jackie, what's funny is growing up, we only had 3 channels, and they were all
I know.
couldn't
Right.
get away from it. Now it's like streaming's like, thank you, Jesus. We're going to watch something.
Well, I do remember being so excited about the Olympics, the parade of nations, and stuff like that. But when was it in Russia last time? Man, did that
It
get
was
messed
supposed
up?
to be 1980. Remember, we boycotted it.
No, some other. Let me think about it. I always get tongue-tied when I'm on the spot. I'm sorry. But it was really weird. Lots of really weird one nation images in the sky. Ugh.
Right. Yeah, those one world images, the New World, or all those one world. Yeah. As a matter of fact, that's really kind of what the Olympics are. They are bringing the world together as one to compete. Now, I love competition. I love the Olympics, but the very nature of the Olympics is a one world movement. So they're going to have a lot of that symbolism and a lot of their ceremonies and a lot of what they're doing. Because
That's fair
about
enough.
it's about one world.
Yeah. What are you looking for, Scooter?
Because I got up because I thought it was over there, and I didn't get up, and I've been sitting here smoking, and I have another cigarette tonight, and I don't have fire.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, no. I hate that when that happens.
So if I say this, I don't want to now cloud the pool of this. The masks are here to stay. In all of the pageantry and symbolism of not only the opening ceremonies, but I can't believe I had to force myself to sit and watch curling.
Oh, yeah.
And the figure skating and the doubles. Great performances by fantastic athletes if given the opportunity. But masked theater is here to stay.
Yeah, the audience. I did notice that it was while watching that fellow, that great figure skater from Utah, skate his perfect routine. Chen. Oh boy.
I'm not going to butcher the name. Yes.
He was so good, but everyone in the audience was sparse. And everyone who was in the audience was perfectly still with a mask on. There was no clapping. It was like they were fake.
And not participatory as an audience at an Olympic event at all.
Yeah.
Literally like captive hostages.
Well, it's capping the human energy, and that's part of this whole thing, is putting a cap on and containing human energy, and whittling us down to thinking that we don't have any.
When you say that, that's me. I'm the idiot. When you talk about that energy.
What do you mean?
Explain that to the listeners, what you just said.
Well, the planet is an electromagnetic planet, and people have an electromagnetic field around them. You know the old saying, a dog can tell when you're not a good person. Why is that? Because it's energy. It's not, you don't speak the same language as the dog. Dog doesn't speak your language. You don't need to. It's the energy. When you see an old friend, you get that boost of serotonin. What is that? That is energy. That is human energy. It's our ethereal field. And that's what they're trying to suppress so that we don't have individual feelings. Oh, we're going to hell on this issue, you guys, this episode.
No, you're exactly right. Yeah.
If people don't know that, though, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, it's used in the occult. They use masks in the occult. You can't see people's expressions. It's symbolic of you have no voice. We're going to cover your mouth. Yeah, it's all symbolism, because these people, you have to understand, these people up at the top, the elite, they communicate to each other with signs and symbols.
Mm-hmm.
And they all know about it. That's what they do in these secret meetings and these secret societies. And they all know what these things mean. They know what the mask means. They know what's behind it. They know about the energy. They know how to stifle it.
Mm-hmm.
Backlash.
Yes.
He's in the corner, dude.
I'm also now on to reason 25 as to why I'm not showing my face anymore.
Oh,
Oh my God. And if you hear any banging, it's just me and my head against the wall.
I know. It really is an upsetting situation.
It is. It really is. It is. It's upsetting to know, and it's upsetting that so many people are deceived, and we just can't get through to a lot of people. For me, that's some of my frustration, is people just can't see it, which is so blatant. It's so obvious.
Joe or Jackie, as Backlash, you said you haven't seen much of any, if any of it. If in what also you were watching, obviously were viewing through the broadcast spectrum, the event, and you have the commentators in the booth that are providing the play-by-play and the color. Do you have any takeaway from the color commentary during the events you watched?
Well,
did you notice anything or hear in a way that, as we started this about, well, and the growing up as the Olympics and a thrill and the channels and all that. So that's my question without tainting the pool.
Well, they're not there. They're back at the NBC headquarters. They're not in the country. It was too many, what they call, logistical issues to have the American commentators in the country.
Right.
So they're sitting at wherever in Connecticut, watching screens.
Right.
Which can even drops the level of energy because they're not in the arena, on the stadium, at the jump, at the site.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, are you hearing any other than the commentary of what we're watching, how they talk about the host?
Oh, China. You mean?
See, Jack, there's Joe. I made her say the C word.
I know you did. Oh, you are always doing that.
Yeah.
You made me use the F word when talking about Fauci once.
But now, wait a minute. Are you noticing any type of slant when it comes to the host, whether it be the city or the I'd say nation state, but the country of China?
Well, I've heard nothing. No, because they couldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Right.
They'd cut the feed.
I mean, you hear nothing negative.
That's what I mean. You couldn't say anything. Like, boy, I wish I were there to see that jump. They would cut the feed. China would turn it off.
All right. My fear is this is the new norm for broadcasting. The use of the green screens and the remote and all of that. Again, because media is hemorrhaging money, propping up a lie that is a lie. Dare question it. We will direct resources at that because we're being paid to be propped up. But the Olympics, when you say the Olympics, I hope everybody still sees the 5 rings and how they're interlinked. And how does that not take us to the global elite, a new world order? By the way, now everyone agrees. What do you mean the Great Reset's conspiracy? That's what we're doing. What? The Great Reset. That's what we're doing. Oh, good. So we were right. You weren't right. You were a conspiracy theorist. We're doing the Great Reset, not the Great Reset.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Listen, we only have 8 years to go till 2030, folks.
Yeah.
Well, we're well on our way from Agenda 2020. Yeah, we're ahead of schedule now on Agenda 2030.
Whoa.
Most people don't even know what that is.
What is
the
in
symbols? The rings and the symbols. Joe, where does that
Jackie's
go with
comment on 2030?
Okay, Agenda 2030. They want us all. They all want us all connect. Well, you go ahead, Joe.
By 2030. Well,
Yes.
you know what I think. I'm a little bit. I see it a little bit different. I think that they are not ahead of schedule. I think they're behind schedule. I think they wanted to do this a lot sooner than they've done it. But what they have to do, you have to keep in mind, they have everything on everybody all in one spot, okay, where they can access it. They know the heartbeat of the people. They know when to push it. They know when to back off. So they do a
Google.
lot
Thank you to Google.
absolutely, and Facebook. I mean, Facebook. I mean, you can even figure out what people had for dinner. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so they've been doing this for a long time, so they know when to push it. Now, from what I understand, what my sources tell me is that this COVID was supposed to be done before. As a matter of fact, it was supposed to be the swine flu was supposed to be COVID, but in their model, they decided that people weren't ready yet. Or they weren't ready to push it at that point. People weren't ready. They weren't ready for the masks. They weren't ready for the V's. They weren't ready for all this stuff. So they put it off. So then when they finally did it, okay, now people are ready. So I think that they wanted to do this a lot sooner than they did. But because of their research into the general consensus of the population, they decided, let's not push it yet. Now we'll push it. That's why they've had their foot on the accelerator for about 2 years now. Now they're overplaying their hand a little bit. I think they've gone a little bit too far. So I think they've got to back off a little bit. So every time they in their studies and they know everything about what's going on, if they find out that they pushed it too far, they'll back off and give us a little bit more of our freedoms and give us a little bit more of our rights back. And then they'll say, and then they'll push it again. So it's a constant push and pull game with them. Go ahead.
I love Scooter's face.
Go ahead.
I said they're ahead of schedule, but I also agree with Joe when he said he disagrees because they meant to roll this out earlier.
Yes, they did.
Donald Trump was a massive speed bump to Agenda 2020, Agenda 2030, Davos, the G20, the G7, and this new world order agenda and the Great Reset that is no longer a conspiracy theory. It's fact-based reality. And so that is kind of paradoxical because I believe for Agenda 2030, they're going to hit their mark. But I do agree with Joe that I still stand by. I don't think they're everything they double down on now. Joe Rogan was spreading misinformation that was killing people. No, he's not. Joe Rogan said the N-word. So what? Joe Rogan's a transphobe. It's got to stop. And it's not. They keep doubling down. Because sadly, and Jackie, the way you described it, of David Icke's description of the threes, of those who will and won't or can't or stuck and the rest. There are now far too many sheep being led by wolves. And we're talking tens, if not hundreds of millions of sheep that are still being run by the same 50 people. And when they talk about what they're doing to save the planet, to save the children, is all rhetoric and it's all lies. It's about control. It's about creating a world of serfs and a world of elite that govern and regulate them. It's beyond criminal. The system is far beyond broken, but most people are going to go along to get along. History proves that with the trains in Europe in the 30s and 40s. End of discussion. And yet, in the world of what I just described there, Hitler is the demon and Stalin is given a pass. Stalin argumentatively killed, 20 to 50 million of his own people? And we haven't even touched Ukraine, Belarus, or any of that. But so this now tangent started with the Olympics and the ceremonies. Joe, what can people who've just found us, what should they be, if you want to give previous examples of previous Super Bowls? Cool. Or what do you think? Again, we were talking about betting. How much money do you want to bet that Snoop Dogg smokes marijuana on stage in California?
How much money do you have on that one, Scooter?
Again, with my addictive gambling and the way I've been, I don't want to make the joke, but it's a joke. So everybody stand down or get your complaints ready. I'm actually considering for the first time voting on soccer, but not at the outcome of the games, but just how many drop dead for no reason.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Oh, okay. Well, what's
That's
happening
not
a
funny.
lot? No, that's happening
It's
a lot right now.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
I could probably make more money betting on the soccer than I could on whether Snoop's going to smoke a joint at the Super Bowl. And again, pervert the public. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Turn them all into hedonists so that they can continue to rape, rob, and pillage the masses, and we just keep infighting. But symbolically, what can we see?
Well, I don't remember if I mentioned this before or not, but I want to bring it up now because it has to do with what we're talking about with the Super Bowl. When they do predictive programming, when they tell you what they're going to do, they don't always follow through with it. If the word gets out or if they want to change course or do whatever, a lot of times they'll back off and they'll go another direction. Now, I think that something was supposed to happen in the Super Bowl. I can't remember what the number is right now when the 49ers played the Ravens.
When it was
when the lights went out. Yeah, when the lights went out. Okay. Because on Sports Illustrated for a few weeks following up to the Super Bowl, the Harbaughs were the coaches, so they're brothers. And one of the headlines was "There will be blood." Okay, so they were talking about the two brothers, but that's telling you something. And then one of the running backs, his name was Frank Gore, and they said there will be gore. Okay, they're talking about Frank Gore, but I think that they were trying to tell us something. I think that they had planned something really detrimental on that Super Bowl, but for whatever reason they backed off because they were telling us there was going to be blood, there was going to be gore, but it didn't happen. All they did was turn off the lights for 33 minutes. So they backed off for whatever reason. So, be aware of stuff like that. Look at the headline and look at what they're really telling you and double entendre. Look what's happening behind the headlines, because that's basically where they go with this.
Joe, what year Super Bowl was it when they came out with the masks on? Or was that the Olympics?
I think you're talking about the Olympics with that one, aren't you?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think you're talking about the Olympics.
I was wrong. They didn't wear masks. That'll be Sunday. Everybody calm down. Sorry.
You are on fire today, Scooter. Oh, man.
Well, and just for the fun of it, since Jackie just joined us, recently, she's got my hamsters going full tilt. I'm going to have to stop by the pet store and pick about 10 more up because they're falling like Scooter's soccer team. But,
running so fast.
Oh my God. You just said that, 2030. So I just looked that up. I can't say what I want to say out loud because they'll pull us for censorship because full page. If you guys, whoever's watching this, just Google 2030 unmasked. And that is going to flip your around.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
That might be something I'm gonna find somebody else's computer to watch on, so I'm not following on that. But oh my God. Because it's talking about the vaccines, it's talking about the mandates, it's talking about everything, and it's talking about banking.
Yeah, there's a recent article that came out on mainstream media that the Fed is all of a sudden investigating whether to issue dollars on cryptocurrency. Oh, you think they just thought of this today?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, I want to back up to something about the Olympics when I asked if you watch, how much you watch. Their ratings are in the Pichadou, the toilet. The Super Bowl ratings, and this is a fact, and I believe it was the year Michael Jackson at the LA Coliseum appeared at the Super Bowl, with first flashing up on top and then popping out of the center stage. Again, that was a double. up there on the Colosseum and the symbolism of that tower, then appearing at the center of and coming out from under the stage. Backlash, get your Google ready.
Oh, God.
Joe, you said 33 minutes was the blackout.
If memory serves me, I thought it was 33 minutes.
Or it could have been 3 minutes and 11 seconds
Yeah.
or 30, 3 minutes and 30 seconds, whatever.
Right.
So let's check that. But that was the most watched halftime show in history. That sets the precedent for all these new big shows. The reality is the NFL Super Bowl, nobody watches anymore. They watch the commercials and the halftime show. The game is just on in the background. Backlash, you'll even agree with that as DJs, and Joe, you too, but you were more on the front side, not doing the slow, running the pots. When the game is on, play the sound through the game. Yep. The minute they go, play some energetic music during the commercials because nobody wants to watch the commercials. Here come those GD Budweiser frogs. And now everybody wants to watch the commercials. Okay. The sheer volume of cash required to get a 30-second spot for the Super Bowl. And this was tied in. So Olympics ratings are in the toilet. The media ratings are in the toilet. How are we going to get people to watch the Super Bowl other than the halftime show? I got it. How do we attract a group that would never watch the Super Bowl? Let's give away millions and millions of dollars of cryptocurrency. Everybody's going to be watching. They're going to all dial in. They're all going to give their data because it's going to be free. Anytime something is offered for free, you're the product.
Yeah, sure. like a vaccine, maybe.
I was talking cryptocurrency.
I know. But I was just throwing that in.
Which Super Bowl was it? Because I'm reading XLV2.
XLV2 is 42.
Okay.
No, XL 10 is 40. XLV 45, 47.
X is 10, right? Is that
X
right?
is 10. So,
okay.
And then L is what? 5?
50. L is 50.
Is it? Okay.
God damn
yes.
it. Roman numerals.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so Michael Jackson at that Super Bowl, when he popped out on stage, I believe he remained silent and stoic in that pose for 3 minutes.
Did it? Okay. Yeah, I do remember that.
What?
That he just stood there while the crowd went absolutely ape bonkers.
Was it 3 minutes? I didn't know it was that long.
That's what I believe. That's why Backlash. Check on that.
I will look up that, but I was looking up the power outage.
Yeah.
You guys are just yeah. See, that got Jackie's attention. It was a 22-minute partial power outage. 22 minutes.
22 minutes.
There's the 11s. And the power failed with 13 minutes and 22 seconds remaining of the third quarter.
Okay.
See, it was the 13 that I remembered.
Okay.
Whoa. Moral Backlash.
I'm right. So glad I brought alcohol to the office today.
L is 50, X is 10. Roman numerals.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Jackie, was I wrong?
No, but I just don't understand the order. If it's an X.
Oh, so because like an abacus, Roman numerals. So if you have an L, that's 50. But if it's XL, it's 40 because you're subtracting.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
So anything behind the largest numerator, you subtract. Anything ahead of the numerator, the largest numerator, you add.
Thank you very much.
Very much like the abacus of the Chinese.
Yeah, I didn't go to very good schools for math.
Yeah, I didn't mean either.
Thank you. You got a good education. Can I tell you?
Before, but the reason I'm so versed in Roman numerals is Winter Carnival, which has that own language and subsect and numerology when it comes to addressing either your peer or an elder.
Oh.
So to address a 46 means you're saying number 46 or an 89, hail the 89th. So you don't run around in public and yell XLIV. I mean that.
Right. Got it. Well, that's very interesting. Thank you. You schooled me.
Interesting.
Um,
I
The
didn't
one
know
where
that
it was
either.
a blackout, Beyonce and Destiny's Child were the halftime.
That's right.
Michael Jackson was in 93.
Mhm.
And how long did he remain stoic and silent before he
I don't
started
even
to
want to look.
sing?
I don't know.
It was unheard of for
It was a long,
broadcasting.
yeah, it was a long
It's the
time.
halftime show. He's
Yeah.
only got 12 minutes and he's just standing there. So the production people were all furious, but Michael Jackson just stood there. And again, was that all by design, or was he just taking it all in? That whatever, LA Coliseum holds close to 100,000 people or 120,000 people, and they just went nuts.
Well, I can tell you this: with all those halftime shows, all this stuff, they're all rituals. As far as the people that are putting on, they're all rituals. They're all ceremonies to them that are doing it. So that's why they have the signs and the symbols, because they're rituals. That's exactly what they are.
Why are they still kicking the dead horse of Michael Jackson now with the Broadway musical, and then complaining? The critics complain that the Broadway musical doesn't address the child abuse. It's a musical. How do you do that? How do we have a little fun on the stage and whoops? And now get ready for the movie. Who cares? Why are they propping him up?
Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say why they do. I mean, that's why they go to these secret meetings. That's what the Bilderbergers are for. That's what all this is for. When they discuss they discuss the future of the world and how they're going to implement it. So a lot of times, a lot of times what they do doesn't make sense to us until after they do it, even when they warn us. Like they warned us a lot about 9/11 on The Simpsons or whatever, but it didn't make any sense when they would show the Twin Towers or whatever. It didn't make any sense until after they carried out their plans.
But now we know.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Some of us know. I think a lot of people are starting to get it. They're just stuck in that category too, where they just,
I think so.
Their feet are in their cement. They're like, can I really go forward with this?
Yes,
thought?
right.
Backlash,
Absolutely.
How long did Michael Jackson stand on stage?
I'm trying to watch it, and I'm also trying not to cry. Because I'm watching it, and he pops up onto two different areas, and then when it does pop up on stage, he pops up at approximately 33 seconds into the start of it.
Oh, imagine that. 33, huh?
Because the original pops up at the top and does that pose. He's a god memory. It's either the black or the brown penny loafers, black pants, that light tan shirt, and black sunglasses, black fedora. And he does the spin sideways, holds the pose, drops back down. 10 seconds later, all the cameras are now center stage. Boom, he pops out center stage, and you got goosebumps. He just stood there.
Might be 30 seconds, I'm not sure, but I'm watching it right now.
He just stands there. And again, literally for a whole song. I swear to God, it was like 3 minutes.
Oh,
No,
I knew it was a long time.
he's just standing still right now. It's
So fast forward the video, Backlash, to see if I'm right. If it's 33 seconds, now he's there. Go to 2 minutes and 30 seconds and watch the last 60 seconds of when he starts.
Oh, right now it's 1:20.
Still standing there.
Yeah.
Crowd is now rushing the field because there were only people supposed to be part of the show, and they open the gates, and here comes everybody out onto the field.
So far it's like 1:22, 1:26.
Is he doing anything other than just standing there?
Nope, just standing there. 1:31, 33.
Just keep standing there. And the crowd is screaming. Not mad because he's not performing.
Yeah, at 1:50 he turns his head.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. He went the other direction. He was still standing. He was doing this. And that's right. He did. I forgot. He did switch directions of his head.
At 2:05 he takes off his sunglasses.
Okay.
And the crowd goes even more nuts.
And remember those moves are all choreographed at certain times. They're really into their numerology. So these are those are all planned.
At about 2:12 is when the little pyrotechnics go off.
That starts the show. So it wasn't 3 minutes, it's 2 minutes. Yeah, unheard of. Even look at Jackie.
Yeah, 2:12. Then he comes out screaming, grabbing his crotch. Woo!
Of course, yeah, of course.
You know, if I do that, I get pulled from stupids. I can't do that anymore.
You know, that would never happen today.
Yeah.
Well, then again, he's not here, is he?
Yeah.
Did he fake his death?
No. But I think he was poisoned with fentanyl.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're probably right about that.
Yeah, I don't believe that conspiracy theory that MJ faked his death.
Oh no.
He was far too gone.
Elvis told me he didn't do it.
Have to show up at a hospital somewhere in Guatemala to get his blood switched out. Someone would know.
Biggest star in the world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, gang, unfortunately, we do have to. I mean, we went really long on this.
That's all right.
We did.
Yeah.
We got so much to talk about, though.
Who had money on the
As long as
Queen
the
and
nightmares
Deadpool?
didn't happen.
Oh, the Deadpool? What about it?
Who had money on the Queen and the Deadpool? Because now she is all but conceded that Prince Charles will be the heir king, and that what's her? I was going to say the T word. Camilla is going to be a certain title. So Jackie, you're in the running on the Deadpool because the Queen Elizabeth is now celebrating her. Is it platinum as the Queen?
Yeah.
A bi-platinum. It's 70 years.
70 is Jubilee, yeah.
Yep.
Jubilee platinum.
I did find that
celebration.
interesting that she would come out and say that Camilla would be the queen consort instead of the princess consort.
Consort. Thank you.
Well, it's the difference between princess and queen. I mean, it's unprecedented for one thing. Their marriage was illegal. You know, his divorce was illegal in the eyes of the Anglican Church. But anyway.
You're in the running.
That
They're
was next, too.
telegraphing that we are ushering her out the side door in royal
Well, did you
fashion.
see how skinny she is? My God, she must have lost 50 pounds in 1 year. And she can't even hold her head up straight. God love her.
Nope.
She didn't have enough strength to cut the little cake they made for her. Did you see that video? I'll just put the knife in there and you guys can cut it. It's a cake. Cut the thing.
And nobody
So
on
how
the
do they
panel.
find us, Jackie? Where do they find you? Backlash. Love the picture.
Don't find
Hail the
me.
Volk. That looks more like Hail Boreas than Hail the Volk.
Well, and you know where everybody can find me? It's going to be under my desk, drinking heavily.
Jackie.Selby on Instagram.
Okay.
And we're also on conspiracykeepers.com and theconspiracyyone.net. They're all linked to each other.
Till we get hacked.
I know. I'm always expecting that.
Till, do we need to name names on this episode or the next one?
I know.
About who's going to hack us. Okay. We know who's going to hack us.
I know. I'm always expecting it. I'm really surprised my website has been up as long as it has. I'm thinking they're going to take this down. But they haven't yet.
Our server is in FEMA Region 4, and they are standing by when it does to migrate it to another. And as the listeners are unaware, we had a meeting before we started tape, and the motion carried, and Jackie is in charge.
Oh, great. Thanks. I'm in charge.
In the event of my, arrest or I could be at the Radisson or the hostel. I'm not sure.
Who Gitmo or the Gulag? Who has an alternate identity that they can get it? Do you have anybody have multiple identities so they can sign
I don't.
with Patreon with a different credit card?
Again, the whole problem. I've had the same damn cell number for 29 years.
Oh my heavens! Oh my heavens! All right, you guys. See you next time.
Oh my gosh! All right, guys.
And thank
Be
you
well,
for
be
watching,
safe. Hail Boreas, hail the Volk.
watching another episode of the Conspiracy Keepers.
Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
guys. Bye.